2021 is over. We made it. Congratulations. Who didn't know we could do it after 2020, right? Here's to a new year. And with a new year comes new goals. I'm sitting down and looking at my data. And in today's video, I will be sharing with you guys my top 20 performing categories, what made me the most money in 2021, and really looking into the data to help make some strategy and some decision in what I'm going to be sourcing in 2022. And I'm a little sad to say, we'll see, I'll show you guys in a minute, but there's a couple categories that really underperformed. Some things that I really enjoy selling, things that I've always liked picking up, really underperformed for me. So let's hop right into that data. If you guys are new to the channel, this is the Sarah Styles Sales and Trends dashboard. This is a Google sheet. It is available for purchase. You simply just put in, you put in your listings, where it sells, and you have access to all this data as well. I'm going to quickly go over my 2021 year end. This is my reselling business only. Not everything is completely done when I'm filming this. So definitely check out my gross versus net, where I'm going to cover everything, my social media, my reselling, my digital products, as well as taking out everything, including taxes, cost of goods, expenses, shipping and fees, and showing you guys that bottom number. But let's go ahead and look at my total reselling. I am on Poshmark and eBay. And in 2021, I did $110,000 and 450. I sold 3,195 items at an average sale price of $35.57. Pretty stoked with this. I like to stay above $30. Closer to 40 is ideal, but in around that $35 price range, I'm pretty happy with. I have around 2,000 active listings. This kind of differs depending on when my VAs have listed it. It's not exactly how many I have on eBay right now. Some of them are in drafts waiting, so a little bit less of that are actually active, and I do have multiples from pallets that I've done. My average cost of goods, so on average, I spent $8.66. You guys will see this in a minute because I'm going to be showing you my categories profit, average profit there. So we'll be taking out the cost of goods there. This is going to be a little bit high if you are a bin seller or a thrifter, because I did liquidation towards the beginning of 2021, really started getting out of it, moving more to the bins and thrift stores as things were starting to open up again and my kids were back in school and I could actually go out and source again. So hopefully this is something going into the new year 2022. I'm hoping to work on my net and really lowering that cost of goods, but keeping my average sale price the same. If I can lower my cost of goods and keep my average sale price the same, my profit, what actually comes home, the money that I put into my bank account, is going to be more, even though I'm not listing any more items. That's really something that I'm focusing on because I don't have any more space. I can't grow my store without getting a storage unit, and I have to work from home because I have children here. They're talking about remote learning again, right? So I really do have to do this out of my house. Sell-through rate, 61% of the items that I had for sale in 2021 sold. That's what sell-through rate means. How many you've sold out of how many you have available. 61% of what I purchased sold in 2021. So now let's look at the top categories. I'm going to be sharing with you guys my top 20 gross revenue performing categories. Do keep in mind that I sell women's clothing, shoes, and purses, maybe 5% men's, but it's mainly women's. Every once in a while I'll pick up a home goods if I know what it is, but I specifically go out and source women's type things. So keep that in mind as we're looking through things. That's what what my categories are coming from, because that's what I source. However, in looking at these charts, if you have the data, if you have the Sarah Styles Sales and Trends dashboard, your charts are going to show something different, but this video is still very relevant because it's going to show you how I'm looking at these charts and making these decisions. Okay, so we are looking at one entire year. So I'm looking at 1 year's worth of data. This is what I like to do when I'm setting new goals or I'm trying to take out seasonality, right? If I'm looking at winter, if I'm looking in winter, my shorts are probably going to be performing pretty poorly because it's the winter. So if I look at a complete year, it takes out a lot of seasonality and it really helps me see on whole what my trends are. for the purpose of similar of what we're doing today. So my top 20 categories, you can see I have my sell-through rate. So how well these items are selling out of how many that I have. This is very important to look at your sell-through rate and not just how many you've sold. You can see here, the bigger the circle on this chart, the bigger the circle, the more items that I have. So if I have a circle that has a lot of items, like you can see this one down here, and I'll get into all of these. This is shoes. This means I have a lot of them, but it's lower on the sell-through rate, which means that it's actually performing really well. Yes, it hit it into my top gross my top profits. Yes, I'm making a lot of money on it, but that's simply because I'm buying a lot of it, which also means that I'm spending a lot of money on items that are not selling. That is why sell-through rate is so important. How many items you've sold out of how many items that you have for sale. So be mindful if you're not looking at if you don't have the Sarah Stylez Sales and Trends Dashboard and you're looking at charts and data and graphs other places, be mindful to not just look at the quantity sold, but to really look at how many has sold out of how many you have available, your sell-through rate. So your sell-through rate is over here on the bottom. You're looking at your average profit. The best performing categories, and we're not looking at it today, but there's another chart in the Sarah Stylez Sales and Trends Dashboard that is your brands. Any chart like this in my dashboards, up here is my BOLO. That has my highest sell-through rate, so it's performing well. I'm selling a lot of what I have, and it has a high average sell price. That's what I want to be sourcing. If I can find just that, that's the money spot. That's my BOLO. Anything towards the lower down you get, the worse that it's performing for me. So I'm going to go through and kind of talk through, share with you guys the average sale price for the entire year, the average sell-through rate for the year, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about the things that are underperforming and what I'm going to do, what my strategy is going to be moving forward. So this ideally is probably one of my best performing, and it's jackets and coats. And this is interesting because we're looking at an annual, and this is why I look at annual data. If I look at December, this would probably be a top performing in December, right? But looking at the entire year, it's still a high performing category for me. And one thing I do want to know, I get this question all the time, what's a good sell-through rate? What's a good average sale price? Two things that you want to do, you want to compare to yourself and you want to compare to the market. So for me, my average profit here, so profit, you can come over here and look at this. On average, my cost of goods is $8.40 for the thrift stores around here charge a little bit more for jackets. So on average, I'm spending $8.40 for a jacket or a coat. And on average, I'm making $39. That's going to tell me what my average profit is. And then my sell-through rate is 64%. So how does that compare to my sell-through rate? Everyone's is going to be different depending on your strategy and what you sell and how often you can do this and how many places you sell. If you're selling on 15 platforms, your sell-through rate should be pretty high because you have so much more exposure. So to me, anything above my annual year-to-date summary sell-through rate, so anything above 61%, for me, is performing better, right? It's performing better than what my average sell-through rate is. You can also look in Terapeak. And on eBay, I have on my eBay how-to tutorials. I will walk you through how to figure out how to use Terapeak. But Terapeak also has sell-through rates in there. You can compare how you're doing compared to eBay's market. So my jackets and coats, the circle is a decent size, but it's performing well because it has a high sell-through rate. Sell-through rate is 64.92%. That's one of my best categories. I struggle, and honestly, and I'm going to talk about this in a minute, this is one of the reasons that it's performing so well for me. Like I said, I'm out of space. And because I'm out of space, I've been pretty picky about the jackets that I'm going to pick up because jackets take up a lot of space. I can fit 3 pairs of jeans in the place that I can fit 1 jacket. So when I am outsourcing, that is something that I keep in the back of my mind, how much space it takes up. And if it's going to take up a lot of space, I make sure that it's going to bring me in that high average sale price. And that's something that's working, that has been working as shown by my data in jackets and coats, even though we're looking at annual data. You're looking at bags down here. And guys, this is one, if you've been watching my channel, I've always been about the bags. I love picking up bags. it's not performing great. My profit, so we're talking profit, right? So this is how much I have made on it. So a little bit different than my average sale price. My average sale price is $35. The profit on bags is still really high. It's still better than my average sale price. However, my sell-through rate is a little bit less. And this, bags, because they have a higher profit and not, 2021, we weren't all really going very many places. How many people really needed, nice Coach Michael Kors bags? So this is something that this is one of the categories that I'm going to change a little bit what I'm doing. I am going to kind of do what I do with jackets and coats and be a lot more mindful of what I'm picking up because I want my sell-through rate to increase. Bags, you can see if we scroll up here, looking at the total gross, but you can see my bags up here on average, it's taking 123 days to sell. That's taking up space in my inventory, just like jackets. If I'm going to spend my money and space, I'm going to be a little bit more diligent in picking up bags. So that's definitely one of the categories I'm a little disappointed with. It's always been a great performer for me. The profit is there. I just need to work on 2022, bringing that sell-through rate, being more mindful of what purses I'm picking up. Jumpsuits. A lot of these jumpsuits, and we can come down here and look at, you can see the average cost of goods for the jumpsuit is $14. That's because most of the jumpsuits that I've picked up are from a liquidation palette. So it doesn't surprise me too much that it is performing well because this is new attack, store stock, things that, are recent. Jumpsuits are pretty trendy right now. One reason, honestly, that I don't pick them up at the thrift stores often is I don't really like photographing them. To be completely honest. And so I really don't, it has to really stick out to me to pick it up. And that's jumpsuits. You can see the circle's a little bit smaller. My average profit here is $33.50. My sell-through rate, so I sold 74% of the jumpsuits that I've purchased this last year. Dresses, average profit. This one surprised me, guys, because I think during the summer and maybe into the fall, things were a little bit more normal and people were out doing things. But dresses, 63% sell-through rate, so just slightly above what my average is. But that profit, again, is there anything above, so 35, anything above this $30, because we're looking at profit now, so take out my cost of goods, $28, $27 profit would be a little bit better than my profit. Shoes. So this is the other one, guys. There's two. The bags and shoes are my categories that I have always really loved selling and have always been really good performers for me. And they're just not doing great this past year. There's one, so stay tuned and see this one category that I've kind of gotten into, and it is actually really performing well for me. Shoes. What's happening with the shoes? My profit is $30. So remember, keep cost of goods in here. Let's come over here and look at shoes. So if you were to look at my average sale price is about $35. So that's a raw average. They're selling on average for what my inventory is selling for. However, my sell-through rate is 48%. That's, 13% below what my average sell-through rate is. And so I think, and let me know what you guys think, how your shoes are performing or what you think. I think some of this is we were in a pandemic, no one was going anywhere. Well, what do we need shoes for if we're not going somewhere? I also think that some of it is the market is getting a lot more competitive, and things that used to sell really well, I could sell a pair of Ugg boots, I'd list them and they would sell in a couple weeks at full asking price. The market's getting saturated, and so I think I need to start being a lot more picky, just like with the jackets and coats, being a lot more picky in what I'm picking up, making sure that it's in phenomenal condition, it's really a brand that is on point, and just being a little bit more picky. I'm not going to completely stop selling shoes and bags because the profit is there and the sell-through rate is just slightly below where I would like it to be. But I am going to start being a little bit more mindful in what I am picking up. And then you have sleepwear down here. Sleepwear, I don't really pick up intentionally. So I'll be mindful in this, but a lot of the sleepwear actually was onesies that I picked up, character onesies that I picked up for Halloween. So if I didn't get them listed before Halloween, it makes sense why it's down there. But an average profit of $33, that's still good. Sell-through rate just really isn't there. Dresses we did, jumpsuits. Okay, let's go over here. Home goods, you can see this is a really small bubble. It means I only have 12 items. I only purchased and sold 12 items. Some of these were probably honestly things from my house. 75% sell-through rate though. I understand why people get into home goods. Totally makes sense. My profit's not really there. A lot of that's because I don't really know what I'm doing. But a 75% sell-through rate. So if you guys are new and you're like, hey, what can I get into? If you know anything about home goods, it could be a really good category to get into. I don't enjoy it. And also the thing for me is space. I don't have a lot of space, and a lot of home goods takes up a lot of space. You have to not only have space to store it, but you have to have a lot of space for the shipping of it. I ship 95% of my stuff in poly bags, and you know that's how much space it takes for 100 poly bags, right? So that's just something that works for me. Jeans. So this is the category that I have gotten more and more into, and I did a whole video on it. So definitely check out some of my other playlists on picking up jeans and why it's worth it for me. The profit is slightly below, but if you come over here and see what my average cost of goods for jeans is, average cost of goods is $7. I do have some liquidation jeans. That's why that's pushed up a little bit higher, but that's selling at, on average, jeans are selling for $34. So, you know, just right around my average sale price. The sell-through rate though, 64%. That's above my average sell-through rate for the entire year. The thing that I like about jeans is they're very compactable. Compactable, is that a word? They're very compactable, and I can store a lot of them. Where shoes, I have bins. You guys can you see some of the bins back there? I have bins. I can fit about 10 pairs of shoes in bins. I can fit like 15 or 20 pairs of jeans. So that goes into it. Yes, I'm making less of a profit on them, but I can have more of them, and I can cruise through photos of jeans. So that my time goes into factor as well too. It takes me less time to photograph and list jeans. So jeans is definitely something I'm working on learning a lot more about them. Check out some of my what sold videos to see what jeans are selling for me, but that's something that's definitely working for me in 2021, and I'll be continuing learning more and getting better at jeans. Sweaters, 67% here, so definitely a great sell-through rate. Average profit, not the best, and I'm going to tell you why. You can come over here and look at this. My average cost of goods is $11. Most of these sweaters that I have for sale are from a pallet, and what happens with the pallet is you get sent everything. Even though it's manifested, they throw in a lot of things that you don't always want. So my profit there compared to thrift stores, check out some of my other videos. I go into liquidation versus thrifted, but definitely my profit on thrifted items is a lot better. That's why you're seeing for sweaters, my profit is down because most of the sweaters that I pick up are liquidation. I don't typically look at the sweater aisle or the tops aisle at a thrift store because they just don't really perform well for me from a thrift store. Pants, $22 profit. So I'm going to work 60% sell-through rate. This is something that, 60.72, basically my average sell-through rate. The profit's a little bit less. So this is something that I'm going to work. I like taking pictures of pants. I like storing pants. It's very similar to jeans. It's very easy at thrift stores to look through pants. So I think I'm definitely going to pick up pants, but I would like to work on increasing my profit there, learning brands, learning styles and trends. If these are categories that you guys sell in, definitely let me know down below what you're looking for right now. My tops, you can see the bubble here. This is probably my largest bubble, 1,100, 923. Yeah, so tops is my largest bubble. This is liquidation. I probably have like 4 thrifted tops, maybe a little bit more than that now that I go to the bins, but definitely liquidation. I would not intentionally pick up a lot of tops. You can see the profit here is $17.23. And guys, this is gonna be liquidation. So an average profit for new with tag store stock, right? So on average, I'm spending $10 an item because this is liquidation stuff, you know, more than thrift store, and I'm still only making $17. So if you're doing thrifted and bins, you're likely getting even less than that, which is why I don't pick up a lot of tops. However, the sell-through rate is there. So if you're going into becoming a volume seller and you're wanting to sell a lot of items at low prices, and I talk a lot about this in other videos, the golden formula for resellers, check out how to make money playlist where I talk about, you know, volume sell-through rate versus average sale price and how to figure out how to make the money that you want. But if you're trying to become a volume seller and you're trying to increase your sell-through rate, this would be a great category. If your data looks like mine, this would be a great category for me because it has a great sell-through rate. It's about 10%, right? What was it? 72? 71%. It's 10% higher. That's a great sell-through rate. Accessories. I don't have a lot of accessories. Well, it says I have 153. So I think this is probably like belts, wallets, wristlets, stuff like that. 62% profits. Not fantastic there. I don't intentionally seek out accessories, to be honest. Intimates, this is something, so stay tuned. This data is actually pretty surprising to me because I'm starting to do more bras. You cannot list used underwear unless it's vintage, like so many years. I think it's like 50 years or something. But you can't list underwear. So bras. But bras, like I said, I don't have a ton of space. Bras, I've been trying to learn bras and get more into bras because they take up this much space. I can have, you know, for one pair of shoes, I can probably list 5 bras in the same amount of space. So I am working on learning bras. That's why my profit's low, because I don't really know what I'm doing yet, to be honest. So stay tuned, subscribe, and see how this goes for me as I start to learn bras and get more bras and intimates as well. 48% sell-through rate. I'm actually pretty excited with that because I don't know a ton about selling bras. You know, I know what I wear, but I don't know what sells and what the market is. So I'm doing a lot of research and really learning this category. Swimwear, 42% here, average profit of $24. And then rompers. So rompers is going to be like a shorts jumpsuit, up profit here of $9.25 and a 40% sell-through rate. If you like this video, YouTube thinks that you'd like this video, I will link a playlist here of how to make money reselling, and then make sure to hit that subscribe button.